What is plagiarism? Plagiarism is taking credit for or not giving credit to someone else's ideas and research. A writer could do this intentionally or unintentionally. Either way, it is unethical and can be plagiarism. Here is a list of circumstances where plagiarism would have occurred. Turning in someone else's work as your own, copying words or ideas from someone else without giving credit, failing to put a quotation in quotation marks, giving incorrect information about the source of a quotation, changing words but copying the sentence structure of a source without giving credit, copying so many words or ideas from a source that it makes up the majority of your work, whether you give credit or not. As a student, your research papers and projects need to be built upon others' research. It is important when writing an academic paper to avoid plagiarism and give credit to others' research through your reference list and in-text citations. Your reference list will be located at the end of your paper and should contain every source that is cited throughout your paper. Here is an example. What is a reference list? The reference list has the full information for an in-text citation so that your reader can locate the information. A reference includes the following: author, date, title, and location where the source was published. The formatting of a reference will change depending on what type of source it is. Citations are used throughout your paper to show where others' research has been used. Here is a passage from Alice in Wonderland that you want to use in your paper. Since you are using words and ideas from this source, the author will need to be cited in your paper. There are 3 ways to cite this paragraph: paraphrasing, summarizing, and quoting. Paraphrasing is putting a passage into your own words. Changing a few words of the original sentences does not make your writing a legitimate paraphrase. You must change both the words and the sentence structure of the original without changing the content. This is an example of paraphrasing. According to Carol, Alice struggled to overcome the inconsistency of the flamingo, the hedgehog, the cards, and the changing terrain during her initial attempt at the game. Notice that the citation includes the author with the date in brackets. Summarizing is putting the main idea into your own words. Here is an example of summarizing. Due to the unpredictability of several components of the game, including the flamingo and the hedgehog, Alice found it very challenging to become an effective player. In this example, the author and date are bracketed at the end of the sentence. The formatting of your in-text citations will be dependent on the way you structure your sentence. The important thing to remember is to have that information available somewhere in your sentence. Now on to the 3rd way you can include research in your paper. Quoting is taking the exact wording used by an author. Quoting can be done in 2 ways. The first way is through short quotations. Short quotations need quotation marks and they are less than 40 words. An example of this is: Carol describes the challenges faced by Alice which led to the conclusion that it was a very difficult game indeed. The citation for a quotation needs the author, date, and page number for where the passage is located in your source. The second way to use quotations is through long quotations. Long quotations do not need quotation marks. They are more than 40 words long and they need to be indented. An example of this is: in a poignant and thorough description, Carol explains Alice's difficulty, and from this point on, the rest of the passage is a quotation. You will notice that the whole quote is indented, and that the author, date, and page number are bracketed after the quotation. Is there any information that does not need a citation? Anything that is common knowledge does not need to be cited. Common knowledge can be defined as something others already know or can be found in general reference sources. Examples of common knowledge include the capital city of Saskatchewan is Regina, the Beatles sang Hey Jude, the sky is blue. What about my own ideas and thoughts? Of course you want to get credit for your own ideas. And you don't want your instructor to think that you got all of your information from somewhere else. If it is unclear whether an idea in your paper really came from you or whether you got it from somewhere else and just changed it a little, you should always cite your source. To sum up, plagiarism is not giving credit to others' research or ideas. Only common knowledge and your own ideas do not need to be cited. The most important thing to remember is, when in doubt, cite. Here's a list of my references.